Hello, friends. It's Lee with Lee's Trees. Thank you for joining me. Welcome. And today we're going to be turning this Cotoneaster, a dwarf Cotoneaster, into a bonsai from nursery material. And I'm going to just, don't really have it on a turntable at the moment. I'll just lean it forward a little bit. And I'm really liking it starting to turn green. We're having a few warmer days recently. It was out in the, cold. It did get below zero, or not below zero, but it did get below freezing a little bit, and turns that darker color, but now it's looking a little bit greener, so I'm really enjoying that. So let's get started, and we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna put this into a bonsai pot and start it on its journey. I've got a really nice pot here I picked up at a club meeting at the club auction, and this will be my front. There's a nice little piece here where the glaze has dripped a little bit, and it does have a stamp on the bottom, so I'm not sure what it says, of course, but it is a top quality pot. Let's set that off to the side for a bit, and I'm going to readjust the camera and we'll get started here in a few moments. All right, so like I said, I've adjusted the camera angle and zoomed in a little so you can get a better view of what we're going to be doing here. I guess I didn't need to dump all that out. Got one big root sticking up here. We're definitely going to be pruning here shortly when we get to that. Once we get all the soil taken away. I've adjusted the camera once again so we can get in here and get these cleaned out and straightened out. A little bit of root pruning. All right, there we go. That feels a lot better. We got a lot more of the bark pieces out. Looks like there's just one or two other little big ones. We're not going to worry with those. There we go. So where that one root was coming up a moment ago, we've got one big root here, and I can see that it's still wanting to go up that way. I'm going to come in and take it off. That's going a little more lateral. I'm not finding too many roots that are going around in a circle. Got one set of roots here that's a little higher than the rest of them. We might take that one off just to bring the root base down a tiny bit. But other than that, there's actually a couple of nice looking roots right there where we just took that one off. We can clean that up a tiny bit. And those are all going out and going lateral and going down. Okay, there I found one that's going sideways. So we can take it out. Okay, these here come out lateral and then they make a right hand turn or a turn. So I'm going to take a few of those. As I look at the rest of it, everything looks to be going in a decent direction. And I've got a weird little knob here. I might want to do something about that. Oop. Okay. I'll take those off the top so that only the ones down at the bottom will grow. One, it's a little high there. That's okay. All right, that looks like it's gonna be about it for what we want to take off. Seems like there's an unending supply of bark coming out of the root ball right here. Grab a chopstick. Okay, well that definitely opened it up, and it also exposed a problem root, so I guess that's a good thing. We can go ahead and get that taken care of. Get it out of there. Alright, I think I've got all the original soil and bark out. There's one or two little pieces, but I'm not going to worry with what's left. I think I've gotten everything. One more root here that has a weird twist and turn to it, so we will just try to snip it off. I don't know if I want to take too much more of that off. I've taken a lot of root off it already. Alright, there's the front of my pot there. Before I go too far, we maybe want to try to figure a way to tie this in. I think I can, just to be safe. So let me Probably should have thought of this ahead of time. Wasn't sure if I was going to try to tie it in or not, but just find an opening here. There we go. This is the Akadama Pumice and Lava Mix. Let's see if I can get my tie-down wires right on that one piece of root in the back there. I definitely cut that piece of wire way too long. Okay, we can use those, save those to put our drainage screens and tie and wire it into a pot. Push the wire back towards the root a little. Bring the twist back to me some. Oh, careful. And my other piece of wire is catching these roots and pulling them back up out of the pot. So let's get that out of the way so that keep those roots down in there. What little ones we have left. Should probably go grab my spray bottle and give those a quick spritz. Let's quickly give this one more little snug. You can see I've put a tiny little scrape on the root, but not bad. I can just barely see a little bit of green. So I'm going to stop there for just a moment. There we go. Like I said, give them roots a little spritz, keep them moist. Tree feels good and snug. Get it turned around. I like where it's sitting in the pot. It's not quite exactly in the center. It is off it to the side just the tiniest little bit. And I like being able to keep this whole cascading portion here. I know this isn't a standard cascade pot, but that's okay. We're still developing this tree. So now we'll just finish potting it up. Oh. As you may have saw, as I was taking that old soil away, the original nursery soil, there was a few holes in between some of those roots. So I want to make sure I chop this really well and get some of this soil up in there and fill in those gaps. I think that's got it pretty good. I think we've got the soil packed in there really well. We're gonna take it outside and give it a good water. I did forget, as always, I want to make sure I give a little mycorrhiza here. I wanted to do that to the roots themselves, but I forgot, but that's okay. We'll do this, give it a really good heavy dose, and that way as it waters, it'll go down into it. There's our Cotoneaster starting its journey as a bonsai. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll like and subscribe.